The hashtag is TV3 New Day. It is Thursday morning and it's the 3rd of August. And so every Thursday we have our ladies, lady politicians also join us on the show to talk about all the issues that are pertaining to our governance and social issues as well. Today is no different. And in the studios, we have Aisha Alassan. She's the National Communications Member for the NDC. Looking ravishing. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
How's your week been? I saw you last week and I haven't seen you again till today.
Yes, it's been good.
It's been good, eh?
Yes.
More money? You're making some money?
Not under this economy, no.
Hey. Okay. So you haven't made any money at all?
Not at all.
I see. And you're looking this good?
Yeah, we just have to confuse our enemies.
Hey, wow. Okay, who are the enemies in this case?
We even know.
Anyway, so she speaks on behalf of the NDC. We're expecting Vera Redu, the National Communications Team member for the NPP. And unfortunately, Nana Yachimpim Jantwa, the General Secretary for the CPP, will not be able to join us this morning. We're told she's a bit under the weather. So good morning, Auntie, and I hope that you feel better soon. We'll also try and connect with one of the executive heads of the GII and Ghana Integrity Initiative, so she can also speak to us on the matters that we'll be discussing. This morning, we're looking at two issues. First of all, the Cecilia Dapaah case has come up again after the Attorney General put out some advice to the prosecutors in terms of the direction of investigation and the further probe that he's requesting from them. So we'll start with that, and later we'll go back to the affordable housing project that the president cut short for in Pogoase and why the minority thinks that it is illegal. But let's start with our story for this morning. Now, two more persons we're told have been arrested in connection with the alleged theft of millions of Ghana cedis in the home of former Minister for Sanitation and Water Resources, Cecilia Dapaah, and her husband, Daniel Osei-Kuffour. So it brings the total number of arrests to 7. And even though the identity of these two new people have not been put out in public, at least now we know that 7 people have been accused and will be arraigned before court. 5 of them already, well, we're told, are before court at the moment. And I mean, the Attorney General has also waded into this controversy. And a lot of people are asking questions as to why the Attorney General got involved in this, especially when we're told that the special prosecutor, in fact, by their own statement, had come out to say that they were investigating the issue of corruption and corruption-related offences with regards to this matter. But we'll take a look at the charge sheets from the prosecutors, even before we look at the advice of the Attorney General as well. And so the two complainants in this case, we have the husband of the minister, Mr. Daniel Osei-Kuffour, and the former minister herself, Minister of Sanitation and Water Resources, Cecilia Dapaah. Remember that about a week ago, she tendered in her resignation when this matter, caught fire on social media and across traditional media as well. The president has accepted her resignation, and already we have an active minister in her stead. But how the stolen money was spent, per the charge sheet that was put out by the prosecutors, we're told that there were 5 people involved in this matter. There was an 18-year-old who was supposed to be the house help for the sanitation minister then, and well, she's a hairdresser, we're told. There's also Sarah AJ, who is a 30-year-old unemployed woman who also served as one of the helps in the house at one point. Then there's one Benjamin Soa, who's a 29-year-old plumber, and he is said to be the boyfriend of the first accused person, Patience Botche. There's also Kweku Botche. He's 65 years old. He's a trader. We're told that he sells wood in one of the markets, and he's the father of the first accused person. And then Malik Dauda is 34 years. He's unemployed, and he's supposed to be the ex-boyfriend of the first accused person, Patience Botche Mabina. Now, on the 6th of October, we're told allegedly that the husband of the former minister walked into his home after he had left home going, on a trip, and for some reason had to return because the trip and the meeting was cancelled. So he walked into his home, realized his bedroom door was open, realized that the inner door in the bedroom was also open, and that is where he found Patience Botche. And she had no reason for why she was there, could not explain. But per the document, we're told that he immediately called for the police on duty at home and his driver. They arrested her and sent her to one police station. Even that, there are some discrepancies here and there. We'll come to it. But let's quickly take a look at what exactly the offenses were and how much money was involved. If you look at the police statement as well, it says that, first of all, between the period of July and October at Abilinkpi in the Greater Accra region, we're told that Patience Botche did dishonestly appropriate cash at the sum of 300,000 euros and they said it was the property of Madame Cecilia Abena Dapaah. That's not all. Secondly, they said she also dishonestly appropriated cash sum of well, hold on, let me get it right. Okay, so there's one that's 300,000 euros, there's one that's 350,000 Ghana cedis, and they said it was a property of Madame Cecilia Abena Dapaah as well. And then there's another one where they said she dishonestly appropriated cash at the sum of $1 million, which is the property of Cecilia Abena Dapaah per the charge sheet. Things have changed a bit based on the Attorney General's advice and the report that he put out as well. So we'll come to that. Also, we're told that there was some amount, okay, so it says that did dishonestly appropriate assorted clothes valued at 95,000 Ghana cedis, assorted handbags valued at $35,000, assorted perfumes also valued at 1,400 US dollars. And then there was also jewelry that was valued at $95,000, also the property of Madame Cecilia Abena Dapaah, and some 5 suits. In fact, in the charge sheet, it says that 6 pieces of assorted kente clothes valued at 90,000 Ghana cedis and 6 sets of men's suits, which is valued at $3,000, also the property of Daniel Osei Kufuor. And it goes on and on. But let's take a look at the Attorney General and what exactly the Attorney General said in the statement that was put out just yesterday. And it says that Cecilia Dapaah did not indicate who the amounts of the 200,000 US dollars and 300,000 euros stolen from the room belonged to. The 200,000 US dollars and 800,000 dollars have been lumped together in one count on the charge sheet as belonging to Cecilia Abena Dapaah. Remember that there's already a statement out there indicating that the 800,000 cedis allegedly belonged to her late brother, and her late mother sent this money to her through her brother as well, who is now alive, currently alive, is the younger one that died, and they asked her to keep that money plus some gold and some regalia for the deceased. Now, the total of all the sums retrieved from the accused, together with the value of properties acquired, does not appear to amount to the sum reported by the complainants as having been stolen. And that's why I deliberately took my time to read the charge sheet for you so you understand how much we're talking about here. It is important for the police to conduct investigations into the ownership of the 200,000 US dollars and the 300,000 euros, the sources from which the established owner or owners of the amounts of 200,000 US dollars and 300,000 euros acquired the money. But that's not all the Attorney General is asking for. Now, it says that Cecilia Abena Dapaah stated in her initial complaint that 800,000 US dollars belonged to her deceased brother, and 300,000 cedis of contribution towards her mother's funeral contained in a box and a bag, respectively, were stolen. Now, what is the Attorney General saying on this? It says that this is confirmed by Henry Osei Kwabena, who told the police on the 4th of July. And Henry Osei Kwabena, by the way, is the brother of Madame Cecilia Dapaah. Now, they say he told the police that he brought the box of money to his sister for safekeeping. This notwithstanding, it is important for the police to conduct independent investigations into these assertions to ascertain 1, the true ownership of the amount of 800,000 US dollars, the source or sources from which the established owner of the amount of $800,000 acquired the money, and whether the accused actually stole the full amount of 800,000 US dollars from the house of the complainant. And so this is the advice that has been put out there by the Attorney General concerning this matter. And we'll get into it as we move along. But first of all, let me hear from my special guest this morning what she makes of this advice that has been put out already by the Attorney General. Back
Bella,
to you. Yes.
good morning once again.
Good morning.
Bella, it's interesting how this whole issue has evolved. We heard about 1 million US dollars, 300,000 euros, and some amount of Ghana cedis being stolen initially. And clearly in the charge sheet, it was stated that it belongs to Madame Cecilia Abena Dapaah. So we have no cause to doubt it. She lodged her complaint and said that money belongs to her. The one that belongs to the husband was also allocated to him. In July, then we start hearing about a new charge sheet, an amended charge sheet. In the amended charge sheet, still maintained that the 1 million US dollars belongs to Madam Cecilia Abna Dapaah. So to wake up and now read that the $1 million belong to two different people.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. That's what the AG is now trying to tell us. And that we lumped them up together. Who lumped them up together? Was it not a report coming from Madam Cecilia Dapaah herself in the charge sheet? Is it not what she put out that was reported to us, that was brought to us?
We cannot say that for a fact. I mean, based on the prosecutor's charge sheet, yes. But we all have.
But this thing
we are not
happened
privy
since
to the
last year.
statement that she gave to the police. Because if you read the Attorney General's report, it sort of alludes to the fact that the statement that Madam Cecilia Dapaah gave was the fact that that 800,000 belonged to her brother. And then there was an extra 200,000. But the prosecutor then lumped the sums together, per what the Attorney General is saying. Now, if you and I have not seen the statement that was given by the former minister, we cannot sit here necessarily and say
So, Bella,
that it was actually her money or not.
Knowing that she is a public officer, this issue happened since last year, October. And $1 million is being alluded to belong to her. Since last year, October. What did she do about it until now? Must it take about 8 months to address this issue, knowing the consequences of lumping this amount of money and alluding it to her?
When you say must it take 8 months, I'm trying to understand this.
Yes, it started since last year, 2022. This whole issue of theft started since last year.
Okay.
And it's just this July that we started hearing about monies being lumped up together.
After the report was officially made to the police in June this year.
After the report was officially made to the police in June this year.
Yes.
So, Bella, this, I will tell you, is a clear afterthought.
What exactly is a clear afterthought?
The issue of $1 million belonging to two separate people, the late brother and Madam Cecilia Dapaah.
Why do you say that?
Yes, it's a clear afterthought. In the charge sheet, are you telling me the police quoted the wrong figure for the woman or lumped up the money when indeed she didn't lump up the money? Because the police, the charge sheet stated clearly that all $1 million belongs to Madam Cecilia Dapaah. The charge sheet has stated clearly who the money belongs to. So let's not try and make it look like part of the money, which is greater part of it, belongs to the late brother. We know dead people don't talk. So now we are allocating as much as $800,000 to the brother. We know dead people don't talk. This is clearly an afterthought. And for the AG to now come out and advise the police on how to go about this prosecution is a clear attempt to whitewash the case.
How so? Because if you read the statements as well, the Attorney General said as at April this year, he had officially requested that if any issue comes up with regards to, theft, and it borders beyond 500,000 cedis, it must be forwarded to the Attorney General for further advice even before they go on and prosecute. The police failed to do that. And they went ahead and came up with a charge sheet and even went ahead to arrange them before court before going to the Attorney General.
Bella, do you know the number of cases being prosecuted in our courts day in, day out? In relations to amount exceeding 500,000. Do you know the number of cases? Which of them has the Attorney General taken interest in? Which of those cases has the Attorney General, who is mandated to ensure that such things do not happen? Which of them has he? They'll go to our courts. You hear even there are much more higher amount of cash.
Do you know this for a fact? Do you know any? Because if you're making this statement, then you should also have some facts.
Bella, I can't state emphatically that this particular case, but you and I know that in our courts,
speak for yourself.
Such issues,
you
don't know.
I don't know.
Well, I know. And those who go to the courts know that such issues come up in our courts every day.
Where it exceeds what, the 500,000 Ghana cedis?
Of course, there are huge sums of money being reported all over.
Which is why I wanted you to give me an example.
I can't state emphatically.
Okay.
But we know such issues come up in our courts. So let's not even try to make it like this is the first time we are seeing such a case of such an amount being missing in Ghana. And we had to probe. What is the Attorney General's business in all these things? And you see, the reason I was telling you that all he is doing is an attempt to whitewash the case is that, one, he started detailing the issues in his advice. He told us the $950,000 US dollars value of jewelries belonging to the woman.
95,000.
95,000 was acquired 35 years ago. What has that got to do with us? That she had it 35 years ago. What has that got to do with us? What has that detail got to do with us?
But is it not
so that
he
will create a certain image in the minds of the police that, okay, this is a woman who is self-made, who has been, you know, rich since time immemorial. What has acquiring jewelry worth $95,000? 35 years ago. What does the 35 years ago? What does it do to the case? You are now bringing in some details to create a certain image about the woman. Now, it is not about the 1 million Ghana cedis, again, which belongs to Cecilia Dapaah, but 800,000 belongs to the late brother. The same late brother that people who lived with him in Bantama have come to tell us his living condition prior to him becoming a chief and his subsequent demise.
And so you don't think that he should be able to have that amount of money? I mean, to be fair, the Attorney General is not saying that the money belongs to the man. He's actually charging the police to further investigate and check if really that money belongs to the man. And if that's the case, how did he even acquire the money? All that is included in this statement.
Look, all those things are afterthoughts. And if I were the Attorney General, is that 800,000, is it in amended charge sheet? Is it in there? They had the opportunity to amend the charge sheet, Bella. Did they separate the 800,000 from the 200,000? Did they? They didn't. The opportunity to amend the charge sheet was given to them, and it still maintained the 1 million Ghana cedis. So for them to come out this July to tell us that 800,000 US dollars belongs to the brother and 200,000 belongs to whoever it belongs to, because even that one, who it belongs to, hasn't been disclosed yet. Then, Bella, I'm telling you, it's a clear afterthought. And we are hearing for the first time from the AG and not Madame Cecilia Dapaah. We are hearing it in the advice.
But to be fair, when Madame Cecilia Dapaah also released the statement, she said that there was some inconsistency.
But she didn't state exactly what
was being discussed on the
She didn't state exactly what the inconsistencies were. She had the opportunity to amend the charge sheet. And it maintained the same value of money belonging to her. Bella, let's not try to shield this woman from blame.
Who is trying to shield her?
The Attorney General. The Attorney General and all those involved, they are trying to make this whole issue look like the $1 million doesn't belong to her. And that is a palpable lie, because the charge sheet has exposed them big time. A charge sheet that has been amended. And the 1 million Ghana cedis still belongs to Madame Cecilia Dapaah.
But the statement even says that even that amount of money, and you know, that has been stated out there, if you look at all the things that are said to have been stolen, it does not even amount to the figures that are being put out there.
What are the things that has been stated to have been stolen?
Well, the jewelry, the bags, even that, the jewelry, the bags, etc. Now,
so how much did Madame Cecilia Dapaah tell us has been stolen?
The police did not even give Madame Cecilia Dapaah the chance to see some of these items that were retrieved from the accused person's home. Hold on. I'm just reading what, you know, the Attorney General said, that Madame Cecilia Dapaah was not given the chance to even look at those things and confirm if really those things belong to her or not. And so if the police put out a charge sheet that says that there's this number of kente, number of suits, etc., that belong to Madame Cecilia Dapaah and her husband, and she did not get to even see to tell them that these things are actually mine. The jewelry box was found, but it was empty, but she did not even see to say that, okay, this was actually mine. Then we cannot say that all those things that they are being accused of, they actually stole.
Bella.
So now there's also a concern that so many holes have been punched into this, and the accused persons could have a field day in court with their lawyers, because clearly it looks like the police did not know what they were doing. What do you say to that?
Bella, are you telling me the items listed in the charge sheet were made up by the police?
I'm not telling you. I'm just reading what the Attorney General has put out. So I have no personal statements in this.
Then it looks like we are now trying to blame the police for the list of items stolen, for making them up. Because if you are telling me that is not what the woman reported.
I am not telling you.
Okay, so if they are telling us that that is not what the woman reported, and she had the opportunity to amend the charge sheet, what did she change in there? Bella, tell me, what did she change in there when she had the opportunity to amend the charge sheet?
So your point being?
My point is that she reported exactly what was put out in the charge sheet.
You haven't
and that
seen
is
the
it.
Statement. You haven't seen her statement.
But I can clearly tell because she has been given the opportunity to amend it. She went to amend it. These are items that she has stated them, and the police has included them in the charge sheet.
Do you think the Attorney General statement weakens the case of, the complainant?
Let me tell you
what makes it easy for the lawyers of the accused to have a field day in court?
Let me tell you what the Attorney General is doing right now. Now, detailing the items and allocating them to various people in his advice to the police clearly tells us that they are trying to exonerate Madame Cecilia Dapaah from blame. Mind you, the president has already stated that she believes in the integrity of Madame Cecilia Dapaah and knows she is going to come out clean. So now we must push a certain narrative to affirm the president's statement.
That's what you think is
And
happening.
let me tell you the trend. A journalist in your sister station, I don't want to mention his name.
Please don't mention any names.
I'm not going to mention his name. Started this whole agenda by allocating part of the monies to people. 1, the dead brother. 2, funeral donations.
And they were all
then subsequently, we saw in the Attorney General's advice. This is clearly to push a certain narrative. This is clearly to push a certain narrative and a certain agenda. This journalist came out to tell us that, part of the money is a funeral donation. And we all know, we've all chanced on a book in this country called the Dapaah book. How that particular journalist, how it has been stated in that book, how he's going to be used to clear such messes. And here we are.
Okay. Well, Vera has also joined us this morning. Vera Redu is a member of the NPP's communications team. Good morning to you. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
It's good to have you in the studio. The rains delayed you a bit.
Oh, it's not easy.
It is well. It is well. But I'm sure you've also come across the Attorney General's statement as well. And it's quite interesting that we're seeing this new twist, especially because just about a week or two ago, here, on our channel, the Deputy Attorney General had spoken to one of our journalists and said that there was no need to even go into this matter with the Attorney General's office because the Office of the Special Prosecutor was already investigating this matter. What changed?
Thank you very much, Bella. It's a privilege to be given the opportunity to help educate and then give information to our wonderful audience out there. Let me quickly say a wonderful good morning to the gentleman of the land, the affable, the workaholic, compassionate, listening President Nanado, his Vice President, Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and then my mother, the first female Chief of Staff, Honorable Freema Opare, and then Honorable Obushi Saikofi, and especially to all women. Okay. I'm so passionate about issues of women. I salute you all, and men who support women. Almighty bless you all this morning. I will also quickly commend our president for stating his position clear in our MPP internal elections that will be coming up soon. All our viewers and listeners out there should support such a president. I mean, we know the history of MPP. We believe in democracy. We believe in multi-party democracy and practices. And it is within the principles and beliefs and practice of our president to allow people to express themselves. And so everyone has a right to support whoever it is. But of course, I mean, the elephant is the ultimate. Okay. And so everyone out there, especially the NPP fraternity, we should continue to trumpet the massive achievement of our president.
All right,
and then,
please, let's go on.
I'll go on. Yesterday, the president commissioned the sewage treatment plant at Asham. I don't know if it's on the topic.
No, it's not.
Yeah, so I'll commend him as well for that.
Please, let's move on. There's no time.
Hey, Bella, things that will benefit the
this is a matter that also is important to Ghanaians. Where some amount of money, huge sums of money, has been found in the home of a minister.
It's been stolen.
Well, stolen in the home of a minister. Now, that's what I'm asking you. That the Deputy Attorney General had told us that there was no interest at all from the Attorney General's office to investigate this matter because the Office of the Special Prosecutor was investigating. What changed?
Okay, Bella, you know my style. You see, I believe that when issues of crime, when issues of legalities come up, we need to stay off speculation. We need to be very, very assertive and stay off propaganda and playing politics with such issues. I know issues of such magnitude in this country are mostly downplayed when we do propaganda with it, when we do speculation, when we pitch ordinary Ghanaians against the government for political expedience. I don't mean you. I'm talking about our audience, our viewers, our listeners.
How does this relate to our topic?
What I'm saying is that when I land, you understand.
Yeah, but there's no time. So
you've given me time, so I'm using my allocation to help the viewers understand the issue. Because if it's all about propaganda, speculation, I mean,
nobody is doing propaganda on this table. I've just asked you a question. I wish you'd go straight to the point.
An individual who is a Ghanaian, like any of us seated here, got her money or her family money and properties stolen, and the individual reported to the police, and these issues has been going on. It's gone to court, as we know. Now it came into the public domain, and the special prosecutor stepped in. There's an outcry that they need to do further investigation, especially the NPP fraternity. We believe that this matter should be investigated, and we are pushing for it to be investigated. And the AG's office was initially not consulted, and they are in now to investigate the issues. What has come out now compared to the initial information that was unconfirmed information that was speculating tells me this morning that it's about the same issue. And so what I want to say is that our audience or our viewers out there, we should be mindful that now individuals who are thieves and armed robbers are taking advantage of the loopholes in this house help business. And so I would this morning use the opportunity to propagate that we put systems in place to check how we employ or hire the services of house helps, especially people who come to our homes.
Let's put that aside, Vera. You are not speaking to the matter, and I find that very worrying. What has this got to do with how we hire house helps?
Oh, Bella.
No, I'm sorry, but it doesn't speak to the matter here.
It does.
How does it speak to the matter? We're talking about an amount of money allegedly stolen in the house of the minister. Now there are concerns, first of all, that even the Attorney General says, or the deputy says that we're not going to investigate this. For some reason, they're investigating it now. And there are a lot of loopholes. A lot of holes have been punched into this.
Give me two.
Well, a lot of holes have been punched into it. Now, hold on. I'll come to it. Now, first of all, when you look at the police charge sheet, it says that some amount of $1 million had been stolen allegedly, and it belonged to the minister or the former minister. Now, if you look at the Attorney General's statement, it says that when you look at the statement Madam Cecilia Dapaah gave, 800,000 of that was said to belong to her deceased brother. There's another $200,000 which has no owner at the moment, and so that needs to be investigated. And I'm asking you all those things. I need you to speak to that and not talk about
let me finish with this
house helps and how we had them.
Give me the next.
It is inconsequential.
You're talking about the loophole you are adducing to.
I am not adducing. It is obvious.
No, it's not obvious. You see, if I live in my house, whether someone gives me money or not into my custody and it's missing, the first thing I do is I report such amount in my house, for me, is missing. That's the first thing. So let's say someone gives me 100 Ghana cedis. It's not mine. Gives me to keep the 100 Ghana cedis. That 100 Ghana cedis is missing. The first thing I do is that I report my 100 Ghana cedis is missing. But when it gets to the investigation aspect of it, that is when I will disclose that the 100 cedis that was in my custody are reported missing. These are the facts concerning the 100 Ghana cedis. And so if I report that I have 1 million cedis or $1 million in my custody missing, and they put my name as a complainant with $1 million missing, and then we call for investigation, or in line of that, they are able to deduce that 200 of that money belongs to Mr. A, 100 belongs to Mr. B, maybe 50 belongs to Mr. D. That is what we call investigation. The issue came up on Friday, and without any confirmed information, early Monday morning, people were speculating everywhere. This is the time the Attorney General is giving the nitty-gritty of the issue. So if you say there are holes, no document is speaking to that hole. Everybody is trying to put out there to pitch people against other people, to create a wrong impression. So that's what I'm saying. There are no loopholes. But the fact of the matter is that an individual hired the services of house helps who stole his or her family money.
Allegedly.
That is what
it's
I'm
not
saying.
Her money anymore, her family money.
Whether it is under her custody. That's why I use the money,
okay,
the word under her custody. And so, you see, let's not create the impression that the 1 million Ghana cedis, I mean, we're creating. I think we are not being fair to the matter. The matter is that an individual's money or a family property is stolen. Those who stole the property are arrested now. The issue is in court. Investigation is still ongoing as we speak. The facts of the matter is out now. And so we shouldn't, because of the political affiliation of that individual, dwell only on that. But then I would rather suggest that we put in place systems so that now people under these guys of house helps who are armed robbers and thieves don't take advantage of people who are
let's put in place a system that will help some of these government officials or all of them to declare their assets even before they take over. It is already there. Let's go to the phone lines and we'll speak to Mary Ada shortly. She's the acting executive director for the Ghana Integrity Initiative, and the GII, along with the Ghana Anti-Corruption Coalition, had asked government to thoroughly investigate this matter. Now the Attorney General has gotten involved as well, and they've put out a statement and some advice. Good morning, ma'am. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Bella, and good morning to the team.
What do you make of the statement that has been released by the Attorney General, of course, asking for a further probe into the monies that were mentioned in the police charge sheet and, of course, the alleged theft? And he also goes on to say that we should even probe the issue of money laundering. What do you make of all of this?
Certainly what the Attorney General has done, without a doubt or equivocation, is one of the things we have sought to say that we should be careful in treading when we investigating cases of state. It is his duty to call for the docket if he doesn't know much about it. It is duty to also prefer advice. Yes, certainly. And he has done so in many of the instances. But then the issues he has put forward show significantly that there are significant contradictions in this whole matter. We see, for a fact, that the Attorney General has revealed that the Ghana Police Service, number one, conducted an investigation without a complaint. We say that the complaint on the charge sheet had been changed on several occasions. This matter happened in 2022, only for the complainant to make a formal complaint somewhere in July of 2023. The question we should be asking ourselves is, does that mean that some people are more equal than others? If something was stolen, on what basis was the investigation carried out? Sorry. Again, the other question we should be asking ourselves, is it normal that the Ghana Police Service will do that for any other person? For instance, myself, if there was an issue and it has to be investigated, does that mean I don't have to put in a complaint? But then the Ghana Police Service would investigate and even carry on with the issue. How come that in the first instance, the police continue to indicate that the money belonged to the lady? On all the charges we have read, it says the money belongs to the lady. Only for this to set it, that the money belonged to a dead person in whom they've given, and then the minister was giving custody of this money. It begs the question, and it creates doubts in the minds of the ordinary Ghanaian. Let me admit that in all of this, what the Attorney General said, which is good, is one, to segregate, to request that the money is segregated, because you do not lump up the sum and then you come to it, because we should have charges posted for each and every one of them. Number two, the other thing he did is that the police should expand the basis of the investigation to cover money laundering. Because this lady, apart from the fact that she is a public officer, she had such humongous sums of money in her custody at home. And we all know, your station has also indicated that this is just the tip of the iceberg. Let us all, therefore, concentrate on the substantive matter that is unexplained wealth. And thankfully, we have a law, the OSP law, which permits them to go into this matter and thoroughly investigate. Look at other sources of wealth. If they are explainable, if they are not, Article 2864, then this issue can be triggered further. Because we believe that what this has sought, the Attorney General is focusing on the stealing matter. We do not begrudge him for that. But we are saying that he has succeeded in muddying the water rather than explaining anything, except the fact that he asked the police to segregate the various instances and then also expand it to the AML market, which we all know the OSP is more than competent and capable to do.
Okay, but if you listen to the former OSP, Mr. Martin Amidu, he had talked about how, the statements made by the Office of the Special Prosecutor currently on this matter about investigating it opens it up to public comments, when in actual fact, this is a very sensitive matter and should have been handled, behind closed doors to a large extent. What do you make of how open this conversation has been over time?
You see, one of the things we have challenged this week in this country is the fact that the opacity of most of the state institutions when it comes to issues of opening up. Today we have an RTI law which talks about even proactive disclosure. And so we are asking people to give information when it is not even required of them, because it then succeeds in throwing sunlight into the processes of Ghana. And it also breeds trust of the citizenry in the actions of the people. This is based on the RTI law. Then when information is not given, we say that we trigger the clauses that give us information. So for us, what the Office of the Special Prosecutor did was just to inform the people of Ghana that they have triggered the investigation already. It is not for people to think that they are sitting aloof and not watching. And I believe we should be commending that office for giving that information. They haven't given any further information. All they have said is that we are looking into this matter. Okay. And so it's for us to have patience and wait for them to thoroughly look into the matter. Again, it is for the citizens of Ghana who have the information to make sure that the OSC has it, so that they can do a comprehensive investigation into this issue and even uncover some of the things we don't believe are happening.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for speaking to us this morning. Madam Mary Ada is the Acting Executive Director for the Ghana Integrity Initiative. And she's asking some very important questions there as well. I mean, first of all, of course, on what basis did the prosecutors even carry out this investigation? If you look at what they had stated in their charge sheet and exactly what was stated by the Attorney General. Vera, I'll come back to you on this.
Yeah, I think, like I indicated earlier on, I mean, the Attorney General is doing what is right within their mandate. And as she said, and all of us are all speaking the same thing, we said we need an in-depth investigation, and that is exactly what the AG's department is doing. And so I will commend them for bringing out the facts that the public didn't have, or to kind of give clarity to the speculations that were going on. I mean, because I know that as of last week that the issues were making rounds, a majority of it was just based on speculation. So now we are very clear in our mind that these are the facts of the matter. And so what we need to do is to be patient. I mean, jumping the gun and then saying all sorts of things will not change the fact of the matter and will not do anyone good. I know that, like my sister said earlier on, there are similar issues also pending all over. I don't know about her facts, but I think that what she also said is true, that issues of robbery and theft is ongoing. And then we need to really use the opportunity to hammer the need to put or strengthen processes. We need to strengthen or put up measures to check some of these things. It's not about because it concerns a politician or it concerns Cecilia Dapaah, Honorable, that means that should be the only issue, or we should make it politicize the thing and say all manner of things that are not right. You see, so let's rather hammer the need to put measures or strengthen institutions that will check the loophole where people take advantage. My sister, if this issue had happened to an individual or personality outside the political domain, my question is, what will be the conversation? That's where my interest is. That's where my interest is, because I know people have much more money than this.
But this involves a government official.
That is
why I mean, look at the economic landscape at the moment.
My sister,
things are very tough for people.
No.
I'm just asking you this. I do get what you mean by the fact that what if this was not necessarily a political figure?
But what I'm saying is a fact.
But in this case, this is a political figure. Whether we like it or not, is a case of interest because the economic landscape is not too good for us.
Bella.
Now, at the same time, people are struggling to make ends meet. And then a story like this comes out.
You and I are all struggling.
Hold on. At a point when they're already concerned and some allegations about, corruption within government.
Bella,
don't you think that is why people should focus on this?
It's not about corruption in government. Even trotro meat, take chobo. Even those who clean the road, everybody, it is something, an agenda everyone, including the media, must push. But the fact of the matter is that, Bella, I would have wished your network that was quick to put out information about how much money was in the room beside what was stolen would have gone deeper to give us a rundown of the companies and the investment this woman and the husband have put in place, the job the husband does.
But you are here, you can give us that information.
No, because I'm amazed that we are dwelling as if we are talking about a 35-year or a 30-year-old lady who has just graduated from the university, has just been given an appointment 1 year, and we saw this in her room. We are talking about a grandmother who has worked, has companies, and has stewed, well-achieved woman. The husband, it's way above there. So we bring all these out. You see, some of our viewers don't know the kind of person we are talking about. All they hear is that there's a politician, we found this money in her room, and it's very, very unfair. You see, this is what we are doing to ourselves as a country. And so you have people who are well established and they go into politics, and it's because of politics they are well established. It's not fair.
But isn't that why the Attorney General is asking the prosecutors to investigate the sources of the monies that have been stated?
And the investigation has just begun into the source. The initial investigation was focused on the theft issue. The issue initially was focused on the court issue, and now we have called the issue to be probed, and they are delving deeper into it. They've just started. When did this statement come out? Less than 48 hours. And so why are we in a hurry to persecute? So what I'm saying is that,
I don't think anybody's doing that at this point.
If you are making an emphatic statement that government officials are corrupt, and we are saying
I never made that statement. Hold on.
You said because she's a politician.
But no, I won't let you say that to me on this platform.
She's a politician.
I'm telling you that at the point where we are now, and allegations that have been leveled against government officials of being corrupt, don't you think that that is the reason why there's an interest in this particular case, because of the person involved?
My question is, why must the focus be on government or politicians when the three of us, including Aisha, knows that this country, we are pushing hard to ensure that that mentality, that practice, that all those things that happens needs to be what? Curbed, and that is why state institutions are being strengthened by the current president Nana Addo. And so I am saying that this gives us an opportunity to advocate and push that these positive measures that is being done by the president to strengthen institutions is done more. We should hammer on that, and also advocate for processes and institutions or measures that will curb this thing, where people who are armed robbers are trying to go into this house-made business. But I don't know why. I don't know why your interest is only.
Does the Attorney General have any interest in trying to clear? I don't have only an interest in politicians. I have the interest of Ghanaians.
So why do you want me to say
only? And so if anything concerns Ghanaians, I will speak to it. Now, at the moment, what I'm asking you again is that, does this also mean, I mean, there are concerns out there that the Attorney General is also getting involved in this so that they can find a way to clear the former sanitation minister?
So this statement you've just made.
Is this true?
This statement you have just made, you don't have to even ask me.
Why shouldn't I ask you?
No, using the word that is trying to clear. What makes you think that the Attorney General wants to clear? That is my challenge.
Did you hear? No, so did you hear the statement that she made this morning?
Who?
Because she's also very concerned
the
about
NDC lady.
What is wrong with that?
Please. Give me someone's example. Don't tell me about an NDC person who is sent to come and do propaganda, pitch ordinary Ghanaians and your viewers against government.
I mean,
you cite
her.
No, cite someone else. I'm saying that
she is your contender on the show this morning.
Yes, and she's here to do their bidding because they are desperate to come to power and mess the country.
Does it also mean that you are here to do the bidding of the MPP?
I am here, and from the very first statement, I've been consistent. I'm saying that the issue concerns a human being. And a still human being who is about 70 years.
Okay.
And then your station should have this morning outlined some of her achievements, the things she's done, her husband.
You are here on her behalf, I believe, so you can have outlined it.
Comparatively, but let me go. If she cannot have such a thing or in her family or have that thing in her custody, but you want to skew and then put it on my neck that we are trying to clear someone.
I'm not putting anything on your
neck,
Vera.
sister, we have ordinary Ghanaians who have more money than that.
You are really not speaking to the issue.
I have spoken to it.
You are not speaking to the issue.
You can decide to refuse to accept the fact of the matter.
Aisha.
And that's the fact of the matter.
No problem. You are not, I mean, responding to the matter, but let me go to Aisha.
You are judging me, which is wrong.
You are not responding to my questions.
Bella, I'm saying that she's a human being.
Calm down.
Is that not a fact?
She is a human being.
Is it not a fact she's 70?
But
is it not a fact she has companies? No, I'm asking you, is it not a fact?
Is she a person of interest based on the work she does?
She has resigned, so let's deal with the matter.
Is she a person of interest?
Let's deal with the matter.
Is she a person of interest?
Was her things not stolen?
Okay.
Are the thieves exonerated? Are they angels?
Yeah, but there's also a question about how these monies were acquired.
Our system's not supposed to be put in place to check people.
The Attorney General has asked for it. Aisha, please come in.
Let's be fair.
I mean,
let me come in. Bella, it's not surprising that she is being all evasive.
I'm not evasive.
The truth is one.
I'm telling the facts.
The truth is
one.
You are
doing propaganda. Let's be factual.
And you see, she can't speak to the issues. She's going about.
So you say the issue that you know.
and running around the main issue.
Addressed you.
Because she knows if she attempts to speak to this issue, she will be exposed big time. That's why she's just dilly-dallying. If the Attorney General in his advice says that the police made up all those list of items and allocated them to Madam Cecilia Dapaah, I want the Attorney General to the police service to come up with the original statement Madam Cecilia Dapaah wrote to them. Madam Cecilia Dapaah's original statement should be published for the whole world to see so that they will be exposed. This woman, based on her own charge sheet, her own statement, the police has come out with a charge sheet. And because we want to exonerate her from blame, we are now saying the police service did a bad job.
Vera says that's propaganda if we say that they're trying to exonerate her.
Why do you even make that statement, Bella?
You hold on, please. Let her.
It's propaganda, right?
How can you even say that?
One. In the statement, even the Attorney General's advice, it was stated that the first accused was told by the second accused that there was plenty cash in the room. Was he not caught in the act going for more cash?
I mean, these are all allegations, so let's treat them as such.
Yes, but no, they are not allegations. They are things that the husband of Cecilia Dapaah has said in the statement.
Yeah,
they are not allegations.
But until they are proven guilty in court.
They are not allegations. And the Attorney General has reiterated same in his advice that the first accused was told by the second accused that there was plenty cash in that particular room. So clearly it shows you that it was not even just about the $1 million and some 300,000 euros that were stolen. There were plenty cash in that room.
Your point being?
My point being that if you say it is mere speculations or propaganda, these are things that have been reported by the husband to Madam Cecilia Dapaah and Madam Cecilia Dapaah herself to the police. So who is speculating? The Attorney General has reiterated same. So who is doing propaganda? We are talking based on the issues available to us. We are addressing the issues as it should be addressed. Who is doing propaganda? Nobody is fabricating anything. And I'm telling you that the police must protect their integrity and publish the original statement that Madam Cecilia Dapaah wrote. They must, and you see, the Attorney General, instead of performing his duties under Article 88 of the Constitution, he has now become a propaganda tool of the NPP. Trying to whitewash this whole issue.
Who are we talking about here exactly?
The Attorney General, Godfrey Dame.
He's become what?
A propaganda tool.
How?
Of the NPP. Yes. Just go through his advice and see how he has tried to detail and allocate the monies to various people.
He has not allocated it to various people.
Oh my God.
Because he even says here that it's important for the police to establish the ownership of the various amounts of money dishonestly appropriated to avoid any duplicity in the charges. How is he then saying that? Because he even says that, hold on. Now it says that, first of all, it is important for the police to conduct investigation into one, the true ownership of the amounts of $200,000 US and 300,000 euros. And then secondly, the sources from which the established owners of the amounts of 200,000 and 300,000 euros were acquired.
Della, like I've stated earlier, the charge sheet has been made clear.
So you are working with the charge sheet and nothing else?
$1 million belongs to Madam Cecilia Dapaah. But here we have $800,000 being allocated to a dead man who cannot speak for himself. And you are telling me that it is not an attempt to shield Madam Cecilia Dapaah by the Attorney General.
That's what you think it is?
That is what it is. Not that's what I think.
So
that is what it is.
Yeah, proof. Go to the board.
That is what it is. To even tell us that the jewelries amounting to $95,000 was acquired 35 years ago. To create an image to us that Madam Cecilia Dapaah. And you see, that's not the first time that we are hearing of such stolen monies under this very administration. A presidential staffer, Hamida Nuhu, lost some amount of money to armed robbers.
Same as your MP.
In her house. she lost some $113,000 to armed robbers, some euros, and some amount of Ghana cedis, all hidden in her room. It's also being rumored, and in fact, wide speculations in the media has it that some ministers of state, high-ranking ministers of state of this particular government, have had their monies kept in poly tanks, and their houseboys have made away with those monies. Ministers of state have had their cash stolen. All these are rumors that we are hearing. And Vera is here telling us that the president is strengthening institutions. Which institution is he strengthening? Who strengthens an institution by sacking the Auditor General, Domelevo, illegally? How is that strengthening an institution? We all know how the president goes about doing his things. Once he knows you are going to be a stumbling block on his way, he clears you. We all know how he ensured that the electoral commissioner, Madam Charlotte Osei, was ousted out of office. How is he strengthening institutions? Please, spare us. Under this economy, we have thousands and millions of dollars and Ghana cedis getting missing. And you think we should not be worried about it? When schools in our villages and remote areas are being depleted all over, when people cannot have potable drinking water, when people are plying bad roads in this country, and you think it should not be a worry to any of us, please. We all saw how you people went about Victoria Hammer's issue in this country. John Boadu told us that Victoria Hammer's assets must be freezed just by a mere thought that she wants to get $1 million. Just by thinking, just by dreaming. John Boadu told us that her assets must be freezed in this country.
You mean frozen, yeah.
Yes. Her assets.
Okay.
And today, you are here telling us that we should not talk about it because they are speculations. Speculations written by the husband of Cecilia Dapaah and she herself.
Okay, let's talk about asset declaration, because then this also brings to the fore the issue about government officials and why most of them may not have declared their assets. Because I remember that sometime in May 2022, it says the Speaker of Parliament had a word of caution for Ghana's lawmakers because he wanted all of them to declare their assets. At that time, not many of them had declared their assets. The Fourth Estate even came out with some investigation after they had requested for documents to determine who had declared their assets. And they said that at that time, very few of them, in fact, just about 10 of them or so, had declared their assets at that point. Now, this brings back the question, because if we had all these government officials declare their assets officially, then publicly as well, then we would know at this point if these monies that are being mentioned, monies that are being misappropriated, etc., allegations going forward, belong to these ministers or they acquired it illegally. And that would have made the case much easier, would it not?
Of course, Bella. Bella, with this issue of asset declaration, you see, this is a government that told us that, look, the past administration, NDC, is corrupt. We are going to make sure we are going to lead a corrupt-free governance. So give us the mandate. And he sat down and watched only 10 of his over 120 appointees to declare their assets. And he didn't bother. He didn't bother. That should tell you clearly that this particular president endorses corruption. He endorses corruption and even clears corrupt appointees. When issues of corruption comes up, he makes funny remarks about the issues. He will pass funny jokes about it. The health minister's issue, for instance. Look at how he made a very comical remark about it. Trying to make it trivialize the whole thing. Clearly, this government and president is not prepared to fight corruption in this country. Clearly. And you see, about the Cecilia Dapaah's issue, you remember the OSP had to start an investigation into this matter. And even one of your reporters came out to tell us that, look, some amount of money have been found in her house. And it took 5 hours to finish counting that money. The OSP quickly came out to debunk that story, that it's not true, and told us that they have found something significant. And in the coming days, they are going to publish it. What happens to that significant thing they found? What happened to it?
Okay.
Till date, we are still looking forward to it. Is it that some powerful hand somewhere is trying to suppress that information? Is it the reason why now the AG has come in to bully the police into conforming to what the narrative they want to push?
Okay.
Is it the reason? Let's get serious in this country. We know how this Akufo-Addo government wants to be exonerated from every blame. He doesn't want any of his appointees to be blamed for any corruption deal. So even when they are caught red-handed, he will come out.
Who has been caught red-handed in this case? I mean, let the law do it, go through the course. Let's just wait for the investigations. AG says prosecutors go back and investigate further. Let's wait and see what comes out of this.
Fine. So even before investigations will commence, he will come out and clear his appointees. And you see, if you do that as the president, then you give the institutions no choice. You just toe to your line. Indirectly, you are telling them that this is what I believe, this is what I want, and that's the way I want you to follow.
Vera, so you say that we should await the investigations before we declare any judgment. I don't think that anybody has declared judgment anyway.
You see, Bella, you are right here. She's saying that they are caught red-handed stealing. Politicians are caught red-handed. She should give me one person she saw stealing red-handed. You see, we are speaking to level-headed, astute people this morning. People are watching us. We shouldn't belittle their intelligence. People way above us, seated here, are watching us. And you make such vague statements. It's very unfortunate. I will continue to say and forever say that people have lived their lives, well established themselves before going into politics. And the idea of scandalizing politicians should be stopped. Because if today it has happened to an NPP person, and so you sit here and make all sorts of allegations, then one can also say that allegedly our Black West money got stolen. We were here, we heard former president, may his soul rest in perfect peace, Jerry John Rawlings, talking about how allegedly Ofosu Kwakye stood on one day.
Lie.
The videos are all over. He stood on his grounds and bought 2 buildings for $3 million. What I am trying to say is that I'm trying to say, including their own perpetual only candidate they ever have, and whoever remain in opposition, former President Mahama. What we are saying is that, okay, people have lived their lives, people have done investment, people have a lot outside the political jurisdiction. These issues have happened to people. It may not be the same quantum, but whatever it is, even if it is 10 Ghana cedis, I'm saying that this practice is going on where people are taking advantage of individuals who have offered them opportunity, offered them job opportunity, and they take advantage of that offer and they steal them, they rob them. We can't say because the person is a politician, we should relegate all other issues concerning the matter.
Okay.
And so it is unfair to say because the person is a politician, we should crucify the person when investigation has just commenced.
Okay.
And throw all these allegations out there, attack people unnecessarily. And I'm saying it is very, very unfair.
Well, Rex
that is my point.
Present your evidence. In fact, Christina is the one who says that please ask the lady to present her evidence. We don't want any pedestrian talks.
Just
but